Now you were telling me about the frozen time.
Yeah. Whenever you have somebody go missing, your feelings are, your whole life stops right there. And I refer to it as being frozen in time, basically, because I don't remember anything about Suzanne other than what she looked like the last time I saw her. If she's still out there, has she changed? What's happened to her? So with most families that I speak to, that's what I usually say to them, is that it makes you feel like you're stuck. You can't move. You can't move forward, and you can't look backward, even though we try to, and say, if I never let that person go to that place, maybe we'd still have them here. It's really hard. So.
My name is Virginie Rebeté, and I'm a Swiss photographer. Out of the Blue is my latest project. I started it in 2014 when I was in New York for an artist residency. So all my projects are really focusing on the absence, the invisible. I'm really interested in stories which didn't have any closure somehow, on traces, on marks, on what remains after somebody dies or after disappearance, for example. I use photography to give a certain consistency to what is not there anymore. I'm trying to give it a shape or form. So when I was in New York in 2014, I decided to focus on the story of one missing person. And after some research, I wanted to speak about the story of Suzanne Lyall, who went missing in Albany, New York in 1998. So the first thing I did is to meet her parents in upstate New York, Doug and Mary Lyall. They were really nice and open, and they shared their story and feelings with me. And also they showed me all the material and the documents related to the investigation. So there were family pictures, a lot of portraits of Suzanne, of course, police leads, police images, like the first search by helicopter. And there were also a lot of correspondence between the police, the family, and a lot of different psychics involved in the case. So letters, emails, fax, drawings, maps, sketches. There were as many scenarios as people involved. So straight away I was really interested in how the psychics were using the photograph of Suzanne, because they were not interested in the representation of her, but they were using this photograph as objects in order to get connection with her, to get closer to her. So I decided to focus on that aspect in my project and think about the different status of the image and the documents. So in the book, all this material is brought together with new material. I also made new images like portraits, landscapes, objects of Suzanne, clothing, and I also created new images out of the family archives. And I really started to play with all this material to create something new out of it, a bit like a new portrait of Suzanne. So it's really interesting to see how all this very different material starts to speak with each other and creates new links and new speculations. So it works really well in the book form. And the book actually should be seen as the work itself. And because of the distribution and the circulation of the book, the story of Suzanne will enter like a new field, because it's not going to be the police or the press anymore, but the story will enter the art field, the art world. So it will bring some new discussion and hopefully some new answers. So the book is planned to be out in September this year, and I'm working with two great persons, Delphine Bedel, the publisher from Meta Books, who is also a lecturer, a curator, and with the graphic designer from Zurich, Christoph Nüssli. As you know, making a photography book is super expensive, and we already received some support from Pro Helvetia, the Swiss Art Council, the City of Lausanne, and the Canton de Vaud. But in order to make this book how it should be, we really need your support for these last steps. So if you believe in this book, that would be great if you join us on this project.